Doing what is difficult. How do you handle that when we have difficult things in life to do? But I'm telling you today that we need to do that which is difficult. And it's something just came about even last night. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for watching. Yesterday I was talking to my youngest son, and I was in a way like challenging him a little bit to do something. And he was just saying that, he doesn't feel comfortable. It's difficult. It's hard to do it. And I completely understand what that is. And I think we all can understand in some capacity when we're faced with a difficult task, a difficult challenge. What do? Do we just cower and, avoid it and not do it? I would challenge you, implore you, when you are faced with something that is difficult, that you should lean in, press that much harder. Paul talks about in the Bible and says he's pressed towards the mark, the prize for the higher calling that was in Christ Jesus. So when we're faced with something difficult, and I put it like this, I was considering with my son, when we're facing something difficult, that doesn't mean that it's not enjoyable. All right? I don't know how many of you go to the gym, or you can maybe relate to this thing. When you go to the gym, it's not necessarily enjoyable to work out, to exercise, to feel your muscles aching, your body aching in ways that you didn't know possible after the gym. However, there's a great result afterwards. So doing what's difficult does not mean that it can't be enjoyable. And I would even say some of the difficult things that I've done have been some of the even more enjoyable things afterwards. Because once you finish that task, or once you overcome that challenge, it becomes a joy. And I say even with doing these Facebook Lives, if you were with me from the beginning, or you saw some of them, if you scroll back, you can see it was early January I started doing them. And I said, I didn't feel comfortable doing it, but I felt the Lord was leading me to do this and to push me towards doing it, so I was being obedient. However, at this stage, I enjoy coming on. I enjoy speaking. It's not like a challenge for me in that sense to come on and to speak and to share and to hopefully encourage myself even as I speak as well too. But I enjoy it. But I had to get through what was difficult to get to the part of enjoyment. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. I had to get through what was difficult to get to the part of enjoyment. And I believe that many times, if we could just, as I said before, when you face something difficult, lean in. Press that much harder when you face something difficult. Push that much more to accomplish it. Then you can get over that hump and you can get to the part where now it becomes something that is greatly enjoyable. And I think if you think throughout your life and some things that you might enjoy right now, let's kind of take it from a different angle. Think of the things that you enjoy right now. Were there ever times that prior to this, maybe you didn't enjoy it as much? Maybe that was the difficulties that you have to get over so that you can get to the point of enjoyment. And I'll say there's a couple of reasons that we can see something is difficult. And I'm not going to stay too much on this because I want to just end this really quickly. But there's a couple of reasons we could say something is difficult. Whether, one, it might take too much time. When we see something, it's like, oh, it's going to take a long time, longer than we might want to devote or give to it. Then we could say, and use that as almost like an excuse, that this thing is difficult. Or if it requires too much or a lot of our effort, we can say that it's difficult. All right. And then the third one I thought of with being difficult is when there are a lot of opposing forces. And that's something that's outside of us. You can have people that's opposing you. You can have situations that's opposing you. Then we can say, okay, it's difficult. But when we're faced with any of those, I'm encouraging you again, for the third time I'm saying this now, to lean in and push that much more through that which is difficult so that you can get to the enjoyment. Now, Christ set a perfect example for this. It says that he endured the cross, despising the shame. He went through all of the suffering and the crucifixion because there was joy that was before him. So he went through what was terribly hard, things that we couldn't do for ourselves, things that he didn't deserve, but because he pushed through the difficult to get to the enjoyment. He says the joy that was set before him. So the same thing, that was a perfect example that we can definitely follow. The same thing for us. In order to get to the enjoy, we have to push through the difficult. All right, so that's what I want to share with you this morning. You know, we can have some difficulties, whether we're going through challenges in life, even through grief. When we're going through grieving, it can be a difficult time. But there is, and I'm not even saying there could be, there is, because it says, weeping may endure for the night. But then what comes again? After going through that time of the difficult grieving, joy comes in the morning. So again, we see joy at the end, at the finality of our weeping, of our grieving. There's that joy. So it should help us to push through our difficult times in life. So with that, you get better at what you keep doing. So practice doing good things.